Have you ever had the feeling that you are being pushed to change, even when everything inside you resists? Maybe this isn't just a feeling. Maybe it's a calling, a clear sign that the transformation you have been putting off has finally reached the point of no return. Scorpio is not just a sign. It is a spiritual seal of rebirth, deep pain, and ultimate healing. And when Scorpio tries to escape this process, the universe responds with force. Crises, losses, unexpected revelations, none of this happens by chance. There is a time to resist, and there is a time when the universe decides for you. And if you're here now, it's because the cycle you avoided so much is knocking on the door. You feel it, even if you can't explain it. And it doesn't matter if you tried to follow another path. The Scorpio soul will always be called back to its real purpose. Transform to be reborn, destroy to rebuild, die to live again. This is not a common choice. It is a spiritual mission. It's the exact moment when the old you needs to be left behind. And in this video, we'll reveal why Scorpio is being called out so strongly right now. Because everything that has been postponed needs to be faced, and why this transformation can no longer be ignored. But before continuing, stop and reflect. What inside you is begging for change? What part of you is asking to die so that something greater can be born? If this resonates with you, keep watching. Because what comes next will reveal truths that you already feel, but haven't yet had the courage to face. If this message reached you, it was not by chance. Scorpio does not attract what is light. It attracts what is true. And only those who carry this energy know the weight of feeling too much, of silencing deep pain, of sensing what no one else notices. Therefore, I want to invite you now to actively participate in this moment. Comment below. Do you feel like you are going through a phase of inevitable transformation? Share your feeling. Don't keep it just for yourself. When you write, you validate. When you comment, you activate your healing process. And here, each comment is like a spiritual seal, another step on this journey of awakening. This video is not just another content about signs. He is a mirror, a revelation, a call for those who feel that the time has come to break with the past and embrace who they really came to be. So, if you feel that this calling is for you, leave your like now. Not because it's a formality, but because this gesture shows the universe that you are ready, that you are awake, that you are accepting your process. And if you haven't signed up yet, do so now. This channel is a portal. Each new video is a piece of the spiritual puzzle you are putting together. Signing up is your commitment to your own journey. Comment, like, sign up, and get ready. Because what you hear next may not only confirm everything you've ever felt, but also activate something that has been dormant inside you. For a long time. Do you feel like you're stuck? Like the universe is pushing you to change, but you resist? It's not easy to explain this kind of feeling. It's as if life, from time to time, puts mirrors in front of us. Mirrors that not only show us who we are, but also everything we are refusing to see. And if you're a Scorpio, or carry this energy in your chart, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because Scorpio is a portal, a living symbol of death and rebirth. And no matter how much you try to escape, ignore, or postpone this transformation, it always comes back. Always. You often feel like you are carrying something that others don't. It is a force that lives within you, but at the same time weighs you down. And this strength is not just yours. It is ancestral. You feel like you don't completely belong to this world, as if your soul has memories of other lives, other paths, pains that don't always have a name. Scorpio is not born to have an ordinary life. Scorpio is born to break patterns, to live what others avoid, to look straight ahead at what others pretend not to see. And that's why when you avoid transformation, things start to fall apart. Nothing flows. Relationships wear out. Work loses meaning. Emotional health starts to scream. The body feels, the spirit cries out. It's the universe saying, "You already know. Now it's time to act." But then comes the fear, the doubt, the desire to keep what is comfortable, even if it hurts. Because change is painful. Changing is often facing your own shadow, and Scorpio knows like no one else the power and terror that exists in darkness itself. But this pain has a purpose. This crisis is not punishment. It is called. A call that comes from above, but also from the depths. Because Scorpios don't transform on the surface, he dives. It goes to the bottom of the well of your own soul, and it is there that he is reborn. Anku. When others keep repeating patterns, you feel like there is something bigger pulling. You. As if it were a spiritual mission, even when the world tries to convince you otherwise. How many times have you tried to hide this more sensitive, more intuitive, deeper side? How many times have you forced yourself to fit into places where you clearly didn't belong? You tried to fit in, to be lighter, simpler, more predictable. But something inside you always pulled you back to the essence. And this essence is dense. It's spiritual. It is transformative. You didn't come into the world to just pass through it. You came to change realities, to heal wounds that are not just yours, to break cycles that seemed eternal. And because of that, you often feel overwhelmed. It seems like everything happens to you in a more intense, stronger, deeper way. And it's not imagination. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, the planet of great transformations. Nothing small survives for long in a Scorpio's life. Superficial things dry up, warm relationships disappear, neutral choices make you sick. Because your spirit demands truth. It demands intensity. It demands meaning. And when this sense is lost, the universe begins to send signals. These signs come in the form of dreams, of intuitions that you try to ignore, but that come back with more force, of people who come into your life just to trigger something, of situations that force you to review your entire trajectory. The universe speaks to you all the time. But do you listen? Do you respect your instincts? Or do you still try to rationalize? Everything. Force yourself to carry on as if nothing were happening, as if these sensations weren't real. The truth is that you can't pretend anymore. The transformation has arrived, and it arrived in a way that cannot be postponed. The cycle has closed, and now there are only two choices: resist and suffer, or accept and be reborn. But accepting, in this case, is not easy, because it requires you to abandon masks, roles, old versions of yourself. It requires courage, and spiritual courage. Scorpio is the sign of symbolic death, which means that, to live the fullness of your mission, you need to let go of everything that no longer represents you. And this is where many get stuck. Because emotional attachments, traumas, limiting beliefs, all of this starts to surface. None of this is a coincidence. It is coming because it needs to be healed. It needs to be looked at. It needs to be released. And if you keep resisting, the process will only intensify. You've already noticed this. haven't you? The repetition of patterns, the same pain returning in another form, the same doubts that seemed overcome. All of this is linked to your resistance to accepting the transformation that is rightfully yours. But when you finally give in, something magical happens. It's as if the entire universe opened a new path. The answers arrive, connections become purer, the heart begins to beat at a different frequency. And then you understand that all the pain, all the loss, all the chaos was necessary. It was preparation. The old needed to fall so that the new could be born in truth. You needed to be broken to be rebuilt with awareness. That's Scorpio. That's you. Maybe you've never heard it so clearly. Maybe no one has ever validated your old pain. But now is the time to recognize you are not weak. It never was. You are intense. You feel too much. You see too much. You perceive too much. And all of this has a reason. You have been spiritually trained to see beyond what meets the eye. And that is a gift, even when it feels like a burden. Your challenge is to transform this weight into power. This is your alchemy. This is why Scorpio is known as the sign of rebirth. You die many times, but in all of them, he is reborn stronger. Now, I want you to stop for a few seconds and think, what inside you needs to die today? What part of you is slowing you down, hurting you, holding you back to what has already ended? What lie do you keep telling yourself just so you don't have to face the pain of change? Because the time has come. And you know it in your body, in your dreams, in your intuition. You feel like time is running out, that the energy is changing, that the calling is getting louder. And to deny that is to deny who you are. So take a deep breath and recognize this moment for what it is: a portal, a turning point, an awakening that accepts no return. And before we move on to the next part of this dive, I want to ask you something important. If this content really touched you, comment below. Say, I accept my essence. Or write, I carry this energy. If you feel you are ready for this rebirth, your words are not just comments, they are spiritual confirmations. They are declarations of who you are choosing to be from now on. Leave your like too. This isn't just a click, it's a pact of presence. A clear sign that you recognize this moment is sacred. And if you haven't signed up yet, join to us now. Here, each video is a part of your awakening. Every word is a reminder that you are not alone on this path. And tell me in the comments, what was the biggest sign you received that you needed to change? Or just write, I felt the call. Let's see who carries this spiritual seal with truth. Now get ready, because the next reveal goes even deeper. For a long time, you ignored the signs, and it wasn't for lack of them. They were there the whole time. Recurring dreams that made you restless. Sensations that came out of nowhere, like goosebumps, as if someone was trying to warn you. Situations that seemed repeated, as if life was always pushing you to the same point of pain. Losses that happened without explanation, sudden disconnections, ends of cycles that you didn't understand. All of this had a purpose. Nothing was random, but you avoided it. You thought you could control it, that he could negotiate with the invisible. But now, transformation is inevitable, and what was once subtle now becomes urgent. Scorpio, more than any other sign, carries a pact with the invisible, a silent spiritual contract that demands truth, courage, and depth. While others go through life smoothly, Scorpios dive in. He did not come to exist in half. He came to go to the end, of love, of pain, of doubt, of faith. But what few say is that this dive is not easy. He scares, he takes the floor, and that's why many people try to avoid it. Scorpio feels the call of transformation, but sometimes retreats, creates distractions. It sinks into empty jobs, lukewarm relationships, automatic habits, all so as not to look inside, everything to avoid facing what you know needs to be faced. But there comes a time when the universe asks no more. He simply acts. And maybe you are experiencing exactly that right now. An unexpected break, a forced change, a loss that opened a void. It may seem unfair, even cruel. But look deeper. What is crumbling now are the parts of you that were no longer holding your truth. It's the old disintegrating to make room for the new. It is Pluto, your ruler, fulfilling his mission to dissolve what is false. Because you weren't born to be half of anything. And every time you try to be less than you are, the universe reacts. According to Edgar Cayce, Scorpio is the sign that carries the burden of collective regeneration, and this is not poetry, it is destiny. You came into the world not only to heal yourself, but to become a mirror of the healing of others. And this begins by accepting the process of death and rebirth itself. The Scorpio man's wound is collective because his spirit is ancient. Your soul has seen many things. It has passed through many ages. It has already faced wars that today only reverberate as unconscious memories. And this spiritual baggage doesn't disappear. It pulses, she guides, and it demands responsibility. But let's be honest. You felt this was real long before you heard those words. Deep down, you always knew there was something different. About you. A sensitivity that is difficult to explain. An intuition that protected you from wrong paths. An almost desperate desire to find meaning in everything. To seek answers beyond the obvious. And every time you refused to listen to that, something hurt. Something was stuck. Something was sick. Because your soul no longer tolerates living on the surface. You were shaped for the abyss, not the abyss of suffering, but the abyss of truth. And that is where your strength lies. Ignoring this. Call is like betraying your own essence, and the price for that is high. It manifests itself in existential crises, in nameless anguish, in a chronic feeling of stagnation. And then comes that question that no one wants to ask: what am I doing with my life? When this question appears, it's not a sign of failure. It's a sign that the universe is knocking on your door once again. It's saying, Scorpio, wake up. The time is now. But even with all these signs, many Scorpios insist on running. Away. They try to rationalize, saying it's just a phase, that will pass, which is tiredness, which is the world outside. It is not. It's the world inside. It's your spirit asking for space. It's your soul saying that it can no longer bear living trapped in promises that are not yours, in inherited patterns, in imposed silences, in versions of yourself that you created just to survive, but that are no longer fit to live. Perhaps you are facing right now this strange emptiness that comes when everything that defined you begins to lose its meaning. The job that no longer inspires, the relationship that doesn't sustain, the friendships that seem to not really see you, goals that no longer make sense. This is not failure. This is liberation. It is the beginning of the Scorpio purification process. It's life preparing you for something bigger, something more aligned with who you really are. And here's a hard but necessary truth. The pain you feel today is no greater than the pain of continuing to deny who you came to be. The pain of change is scary, but the pain of being trapped in a small life is devastating. Scorpio needs truth, intensity, and mission. You need to feel that your existence is connected to something bigger. You need to understand that the shadow itself is not the enemy. It is the master. And that chaos, however cruel it may seem, is the fertile soil of your rebirth. How many times have you been reborn? How many times did you have to start over from scratch? Even when it seemed like you had no more strength? How many times have you reinvented yourself in silence, without applause, without witnesses, just with the strength of your soul? This was not in vain. Every fall was preparation. Every loss was debugging. Every pain was a call. And now, more than ever, you are being challenged to accept what you have always known, that this transformation is part of who you are, and that denying this is denying life itself. Have you ever noticed how time is speeding up? How does everything seem to happen more intensely, as if there was no more room for deception, for nonsense, for lies? This is because the collective cycle is also changing, and Scorpio is a key player in this process. Your personal transformation is not just yours, it reverberates throughout the world. When you heal yourself, you heal generations. When you allow yourself to change, you empower others to do the same. Therefore, your journey is not small, and it never was. If you feel like everything is forcing you to look within, it's because the moment has arrived, and there's no going back. We can no longer live with half-truths. You can no longer hide behind masks. You can no longer pretend that you are not hearing this call that comes from above and from within. The world needs your truth, and your truth is born from the transformation you fear most. But it is this same transformation that will set you free. If you've come this far, it's because something inside you has already started to move. And now I want you to stop for a moment and take a deep breath. Feel in your body where this message resonates. Feel in your thoughts what it awakens. And if this touched some dormant part of you, if you felt like you were hearing something you already knew, but never had the courage to accept, then comment below. Write, "I accept my mission." If you feel this calling is yours. Or comment, "The transformation has begun." If you are experiencing this, process now. Your words matter. Your engagement matters. Not just for this video, but for you. Because when you comment, you declare. You make it real. You activate. And if you haven't left your like yet, now is the time. Do this with intention. Not as a favor, but as a gesture of presence. A commitment to your own journey. And if you're not already registered, sign up now. Because what comes next will delve even deeper into all of this, and you don't want to continue this spiritual journey. Halfway. We're just getting started. You feel it, even without knowing how to explain it. Scorpio is not a common sign. It is not easy to understand or carry. There is something about him that goes beyond what is read in horoscopes or learned from superficial texts. Scorpio is pure spirituality in raw form. It's intensity that burns, even when it's silent. It is the mystery that looks into the eyes of life, and also of death, without blinking. When we talk about the mystical nature of Scorpio, we are touching on a layer of existence that cannot always be translated into words. We are talking about an old soul, marked by experiences that go beyond what this plane can clearly reveal. Scorpios carry spiritual codes that operate on an invisible level. They are like living portals connected to something much bigger. They sense what is coming. They feel what others try to hide. They read what has not been said. Your intuition is not a skill. It is a soul language. They don't just perceive. The environment. They absorb, filter, translate. Often, unintentionally. They feel a weight in the air, a different vibration, and they already know that something is going to happen. When everyone is comfortable, Scorpio is suspicious. When everyone is distracted, he is already alert. It's as if he was born with his eyes turned inward and beyond, for what is hidden, for what no one sees. This creates a kind of spiritual loneliness, because it's not easy to carry that kind of sensitivity. Scorpios walk between worlds. They inhabit the visible but belong to the invisible. They often feel out of place, strange, as if they live with a veil between them and the rest of the world. And it's not an illusion. It's frequency. It's soul code. They don't vibrate at the same layer as most. And when they try to adapt, erase themselves, fit in, they get sick. They lose the light. They lose strength. Because this energy, when it is not recognized, turns against itself, and it turns into anguish, fear, anxiety, apathy. Scorpios who do not accept their spiritual nature suffer, but he who embraces it flourishes, not lightly, but with power. The spiritual magnetism of Scorpio is something that others feel without even understanding it. Presence is enough. Just look. Scorpios don't need to say much to be noticed. They carry a quiet but deep vibration, the type of energy that passes through. What a brand, that reverberates. And this strength, when used consciously, becomes a beacon. They have the power to transform everything around them, without even trying. The mere presence of a true Scorpio forces others to look in the mirror, and for this reason they are often feared, misunderstood, or even rejected, because they don't sugarcoat the truth. They are the truth that bothers, the shadow that reveals, the intensity that does not accept being ignored. But this intensity is not just emotional, it's spiritual. Scorpios were chosen to go through the darkness, not to get lost in it, but to rescue what is truest. And that's why they go through so many trials. Because the Scorpio spirit is forged in pain, but honed in delivery. Every wound a Scorpio bears has a sacred story. Each scar is a symbol of resistance, but also of revelation. And even when no one sees, even when there is no audience, Scorpio continues to fight internal battles that few could bear to face. Silence, for him, is not absence. It's armor. It's a temple. It's a shield against a world too noisy to hear what matters. Scorpios remain silent not because they don't feel, but because they feel too much. And because he learned that not everyone deserves to have access to what's inside. It is in silence that he rebuilds himself. Who observes? What plans? That connects with forces that are beyond the material plane. It is there, when no one is looking, that he is reunited with his spirit. It is in the silence that you hear the voice of the invisible, that aligns with what is divine. Regeneration is also part of this spiritual pact. There is no Scorpio who hasn't died inside, sometimes more than once. That you didn't have to completely undo yourself to be reborn in a new, stronger, purer way. Scorpio doesn't live straight lines, live spirals. He experiences processes of death and rebirth that are often lonely, painful, and secret. But this is precisely what makes it stronger. It is this ability to start over from nothing, to rebuild one's own essence even after having been torn apart. That makes Scorpio a channel of healing. He knows what it's like to lose everything and still keep going. You know what it's like to see yourself in ruins, and yet to rise again. This connection with the beyond is not limited to intuition or sensitivity. Go further. Many Scorpios have premonitory dreams, symbolic visions, perceptions that defy logic. They feel presences, read environments, capture emotions that are not theirs. They are like spiritual antennas, always tuned to more. Subtle frequencies. And the more you develop spiritually, the clearer this becomes. It is common for them to be attracted to occult themes, alternative therapies, deep spirituality, soul psychology, meditation, astrology, Reiki, shamanism, energy healing. Not for fashion, but for mission. Scorpios are not interested in the superficial. They need to dive. They need to understand what's behind it. They need to touch what is sacred, even when that sacredness scares them. And for this reason, they also attract people in crisis. They are seen as silent counselors, as sources of strength even when they are feeling broken inside. Others feel they can trust, that there is truth there is depth, there is real presence. And Scorpio, even without understanding, assumes this role. Sometimes unintentionally, sometimes tired, but assume it, because you feel like you have something to offer. Because you know that even when you are in pieces, you can heal. Because your energy, when it is in, tune with your essence, transforms the space it enters. Scorpio is healing, but it's also a cut, it's liberation. But it is also the end. It is the sign that carries the power to end cycles with strength, so that new ones can begin with truth. It takes a lot of courage to live this energy, and not everyone is ready for that. Therefore, many Scorpios try to adapt, soften, hide. But this comes at a high price, because Scorpios who don't live their truth poison themselves, and this poison manifests itself in many ways: guilt, resentment, frustration, emotional illnesses, silent crises. The only antidote is to accept. It's honoring. It is recognizing that your spiritual nature is not a defect. It is a calling. And the more you try to distance yourself from who you really are, the more the universe pulls you back with intensity. You must have already felt this. An invisible force that prevents you from living an ordinary life. A constant restlessness, as if there was always something to be. Discovered, to be understood, to be transformed. This is not dissatisfaction. It is mission. You didn't come to settle down, came to wake up. And even if you don't have all the answers yet, you know. You know you can't keep pretending you don't feel it. What doesn't see, that you don't understand. You know you are being called to go deeper, coming home, to be who you always were, but forgot out of fear, out of tiredness, out of convenience. Now, if this message spoke to you, if you felt something in your chest, in your hands, in your mind, or in the silence between one word and another, right here in the comments. Comment, "I recognize my spiritual nature." Or write, "My soul is ancient and awakening." Your words are not just yours. They are part of a larger movement, of a collective vibration that strengthens when you declare. And if you haven't left your like yet, do so now, not as an automatic gesture, but as a stamp of presence. And if you haven't signed up yet, now is the time. Because in the next video we're going to continue this journey, even deeper, because you are not here by chance. And what comes next will resonate even stronger. And then, even knowing who you are, even feeling the signs in your body, In your dreams and in your soul, you try to escape. Try to ignore what beats inside. He tries to live as if he were just another person, trying to fit into a world that never spoke his language. But Scorpio was not born to be equal. Scorpio did not come into the world to live within the rules that were created by minds that avoid the truth. You carry an invisible pact with the sacred, with the transforming darkness, with the forces that shape destinies. And when you try to be less than you are, when you pretend that you don't hear the call of your spiritual mission, life begins to charge you with interest. The price of not changing for a Scorpio is high, much higher than for any other sign. Because while others are able to delay, their processes and still keep moving, Scorpio is forcibly stopped, and not for punishment, but by destiny. The universe doesn't allow you to lose yourself for long. He comes and takes the floor away. Break ties. It shakes structures. Take off everything you used as a shield so you don't look at yourself. Suddenly, you no longer enjoy what once seemed to work. The work loses its color. Relationships become weighty. The body drags. The mind stops. And what seemed like stability turns into prison. And you've felt it, I know. You've been through moments where everything seemed to fall apart at the same time with no logical explanation. People who walked away for no reason. Opportunities that evaporated. Emotions you couldn't control. A tiredness that could not be cured with rest. A sadness that didn't come from anywhere. A desire to disappear. Disappear. Be reborn in another place. In another time. With another name. This was no coincidence. That was a sign. A sign that you have distanced yourself from your essence to the point that your soul begins to scream inside. When you ignore your mission of transformation, vital energy begins to dissipate. Scorpio lives by truth, by intensity, by dedication. When you live superficially, you get sick. The body begins to respond. Inexplicable pain, insomnia, anxiety attacks, sensations of suffocation, palpitations, muscle tension, and you run to doctors, therapists, diagnoses, but deep down, you know this is spiritual. You know that this pain is from the soul. You know there's no point in treating symptoms if you don't get straight to the cause. And the cause in this case is one, you are not living who you were born to be. Life wants you awake, wants you true. He wants you whole. And to do this, she rips out everything that is in excess, everything that is out of balance, everything that was built on illusions. It doesn't matter how long it took to erect this false structure. When it's time to change, the universe doesn't ask. For permission, he drops it. Because Scorpio doesn't change by light choice. It changes by collapse. It is in chaos that he is reborn. It is at the end that he finds the beginning again. But to do that, you need to accept it. You need to allow it. You need to stop running away. When you insist on living like others, trying to fit your infinite soul into boxes that are too small, you begin to disappear inside. Start silencing your truth, to deny your intuition, suppressing your transformation. Impulses, and it eats away at you. Slowly, in silence, you become a spectator of your own life, loses the shine in your eyes. You get stuck in meaningless routines, empty relationships, promises that are never kept. And the worst part, you start to think this is normal, which is how it is, which is what's left. But this is not life for Scorpio. This is slow death. It's an energetic prison. It's a waste of power. Have you ever felt like something inside you wanted to explode? That he needed to? leave, free himself, be reborn in another way? Have you ever found yourself crying for no reason, just feeling a longing that you didn't even know what for? Have you ever felt like disappearing just to start over from scratch? This is all your spirit trying to rescue you, your soul screaming for change. It's not drama. It's not an exaggeration. It's the urgency of your essence calling you back, reminding you that you cannot continue living out of alignment without paying the price with your own. Peace. And it's not just you who suffers. When you deny your process, everything around you starts to get sick. Relationships become toxic. The environments become heavy. Words lose their meaning. Because Scorpio has such an intense aura that it influences everything it touches. When it is in balance, it heals, transforms, activates. When it is out of balance, it contaminates, drives away, destroys. That's why it's so important to observe. If you listen, take care, not just in the physical sense, but energetic, spiritual, emotional. You are a living field of power, and this power needs to be channeled consciously. The silence you use as a shield can become prison. The strength you repress can turn into aggression. Intuition that you ignore can turn against you, bringing confusion. Because everything in Scorpio is amplified. Nothing is small. Nothing is neutral. Either you live in light, or you get lost in your own shadow. And time for that choice is running out. Life has already shown. What it had to show. You've already sent the signals. Now it's you with you, and with what he is prepared to let die, so that he can finally live. Maybe this is the time to stop negotiating with your own soul, to stop looking for shortcuts, to stop postponing the inevitable. Transformation doesn't wait, healing doesn't wait, and Scorpio was born to reinvent itself as many times as necessary. Your strength lies precisely in your ability to cross what others avoid, to face pain head-on, to dive. Into one's own darkness without losing the light. This is not weakness, that's courage. This is raw, real, living spirituality. That's what you carry. And to deny this is to deny your own soul. Now tell me, honestly, have you been listening to yourself? Have you respected what your intuition has been showing you? Or do you still try to silence that sacred part that insists on speaking? Do you feel alive? Or just existing? Do you feel like you are where you are supposed to be, doing what your soul came to do? Or do you feel like you lost yourself along the way? These questions are not to pressure you, they are to free you. Because until you respond truthfully, transformation cannot happen. And if you've come this far, it's because something has already started to move within you. Maybe a whisper, maybe an old memory, perhaps a pain that now makes more sense. And that's why I want you, in your time, to write in the comments a sentence that will seal this moment. Something that declares that you will no longer run away from your truth. It could be something like, I accept the price of my transformation. Or, I choose to live my mission no matter what the cost. Write with presence. Write like someone who wakes up. And if this video spoke to you, leave your like now, like a seal, like a sign that you're ready for this new cycle. And if you haven't signed up yet, sign up. Because what comes next will touch even deeper on your spiritual journey. And you will. Need to be here to receive it. You may have even tried to escape. You may have ignored the signs, you may have hidden within an apparently safe routine, believing that time would ease the weight you carry inside your chest. But there comes a time when the call becomes impossible to avoid. He doesn't come with soft words or promises of comfort. It comes with internal earthquakes, with sleepless nights where everything seems to tighten your chest, with the feeling that you need to do something. Even without knowing exactly what. This calling is ancestral, spiritual, and inevitable, and if you are a Scorpio or carry this energy in your chart, you have already felt this, because you were marked, chosen, summoned to something that goes beyond you. Scorpio is not just any sign, it's a seal, a code that carries within itself the mission of breaking old, ancestral patterns, often invisible, but which silently command the surrounding reality. Where there is fear, Scorpio takes courage. Where there are lies, Scorpio is called to reveal the truth. Where there is stagnation, he brings the necessary strength to destroy what is rotten so that something new can be born. But all of this has a price. Before bringing light out, he needs to illuminate the darkness itself. Before healing others, you need to face your own demons. Before transforming the world, you need to die to yourself. And dying in this context does not mean ceasing to exist. It's letting go of the old versions of yourself, the masks you built to survive, the roles you assumed to please or protect yourself. It's looking in the mirror of your soul and admitting, that's not me anymore. It's accepting that no matter how scary pain is, it is the only true way back to yourself. Scorpio is the alchemist of the zodiac. Turn pain into power, fear into courage, portal wounds. He doesn't ignore what he feels. He dives in. And in this dive, he finds pearls that no other sign would have the courage to seek. Scorpio's spiritual calling doesn't come with flashing lights. He comes in the silences, in repetitive cycles, and the breakups that hurt, in the sensations of being out of place, of not belonging. Because, in fact, Scorpio does not belong to the social mold. He is here to break the structures, to dismantle limiting beliefs that have been passed down from generation to generation, to face truths that no one wants to touch. And this calling is not optional. The more you ignore it, the more life. Tightens, but the signals increase. But the feeling of disconnection grows. Because your soul knows, its essence remembers, your spirit demands this truth. And here's something that few understand. Scorpio's mission is not about you, it's collective. When you transform, you don't just change your life. You break chains that bound your ancestors. You open paths for your descendants. You heal stories that have been silenced for centuries. You become a channel of a spiritual force that comes from long before you were born. That's why it's so heavy. So sometimes it feels like you're fighting something much bigger than your own conflicts. And it is. Because Scorpio was marked by something bigger. But that's precisely why you carry within you a strength that no one else has. A force that cannot be learned, that cannot be taught, that cannot be simulated. A strength that is born from pain, from falling, from rock bottom, and that transforms into pure power. This power is not external. It's not in the words you say, nor in the actions others see. He is in your eyes, in your silence, in your magnetism. It's in how you survived what was meant to destroy you, and he survived without losing his soul. He survived without ceasing to feel. He survived without becoming bitter. You know what it's like to carry scars that no one sees. You know what it's like to smile with a broken heart. You know what it's like to be strong on the outside while falling apart on the inside. And it taught you things that no book teaches. It gave you emotional wisdom, spiritual maturity, and a sense of purpose that goes beyond logic. Because you don't look for shallow answers. You want to know the real reason for things. You want to understand the hidden meaning behind events. Want to access the spiritual layer of life. And the universe, little by little, gives you these answers. But never all at once. Because Scorpio learns through experience, in intensity, in the pain that awakens, in the chaos that cleans, in the dark night that reveals. And have you ever noticed that you are often the one who holds others up when everything falls apart? What are you that friends call when they are on edge? That people trust you to share their darkest truths? This is no coincidence. It's part of your mission. You are a keeper of secrets, a healing channel, a mirror of the truth that others avoid. And this is only possible because you have already faced your own darkness, or are facing it, because no one heals another without first healing themselves. No one guides another without having first walked in the dark. Therefore, no matter how difficult it is, you cannot escape your mission, because it is not punishment. It's a privilege. It is an irrefutable call that comes from your own soul, and accepting this call is what will set you free. It will give you back the meaning of life. It will align your paths. It will restore your energy. Because when Scorpio is in alignment with its spiritual mission, everything around it begins to transform. The doors open. The right people appear. The answers arrive. Intuition strengthens. And the soul rests. Because finally, she is where she always wanted to be, living the truth, no longer running away from it. Now, if this all made sense to you, if you felt that these words touched something that had been hidden for a long time, I want you to write in the comments a sentence that resonates with this awakening. It could be, I accept my spiritual calling, or my mission is greater than my fears. Write as someone who affirms, as someone who awakens, as someone who chooses. And if you haven't left your like yet, do so now with intention, as if to seal this moment. And if you haven't signed up yet, sign up. Because what comes next will continue this dive, and you won't want to stop now. The journey is just beginning. Maybe you felt something different the last few days, a discomfort that cannot be explained in words, an uneasiness that grows in silence, a feeling that something is about to change, but you don't know exactly what yet. It's as if time is speeding up, as if the universe is pushing your soul in a direction that you haven't consciously chosen yet. But deep down, you know. Because Scorpio doesn't need to understand everything to feel, and when the transformation arrives, it doesn't ask for permission. She invades, break up, undo. And the signs of this change don't come from the outside, they come from within. They start out subtle but become impossible to ignore. You may be having strange dreams. Dreams about death, about losses, about doors closing. And no, it's not a negative omen. On the contrary, and these dreams are symbols. Dying in the dream plane does not mean a literal end, it means the end of a version of yourself that no longer makes sense. It's the unconscious trying to show you that something needs to be left behind. You dream that you are falling, that you are trapped, that you are trying to get out of a dark place, or that you are being reborn, flying, going through portals. This is not imagination. They are messages from the spirit. Your soul is communicating with you. And if you're paying attention, you know this is no coincidence. Another common sign that the transformation has arrived is the feeling of the end of the cycle, that something has ended, even if it is still there. Sometimes the relationship continues, but is emotionally over. Work still pays your bills, but it no longer feeds your spirit. Friendships exist, but they no longer recognize you, and you feel alone even when surrounded by people. This happens because your soul has already turned the page. Even if your material life hasn't caught up yet, it's as if you are existing in two worlds, the one that is crumbling and the one that is yet to be born. This spiritual limbo is uncomfortable, I know, but he is sacred. He is part of the process. You may also be experiencing loss. People who walk away for no apparent reason. Situations that used to flow and now freeze. Invitations that disappear. Paths that close. Everything seems to force you to stop. And you, who always had control, find yourself with your hands tied. This is a direct signal. The universe is undoing what no longer supports its new frequency, and it can hurt. Of course it hurts. But the pain here is not punishment. It's a sign of movement, that you are in transit between an old self and the new being that is being born. And every crossing hurts. Every passage creates rupture. Scorpios feel this more intensely than any other sign, because they were born to transform. And this transformation is not punctual. It happens in layers. You may have already been reborn several times. But now, he feels like something is different, that this cycle is not just another change. It's the change, the one that will really turn you inside out, that will make you face parts of yourself that you never wanted to see, that will make you abandon once and for all the characters you dressed up to please, to be accepted, to survive. This is the time to be reborn as you really are, and that takes courage, because being who you are, in a world that constantly asks you to be less, is an act of spiritual rebellion. Maybe you're feeling your intuition screaming. You know that feeling that comes out of nowhere but doesn't leave your mind? That voice that whispers in your heart, telling you that the path is another? That it's time for a change? That it's no longer possible to live like this? Scorpios are ruled by Pluto, and Pluto speaks through the soul. He doesn't scream, he penetrates. He communicates through symbols, emotions, sensations. And when you don't listen, it intensifies. Intuition doesn't leave you alone because it already knows. She's already seen it. She already understood. Now, all you have to do is accept it. You often feel unexplained goosebumps. He hears a song and starts crying, without knowing why. You remember something old and feel a pain that you thought you had already overcome. You feel like you are low energy, that you need to isolate yourself, that you need to withdraw. These are all spiritual symptoms. The body responds to what the soul is processing. You are being prepared for a new version, a more aligned, more authentic, more powerful version. But for this version to be born, the old one needs to die. You can't carry the entire past into the new cycle. Some things need to be left behind. Some dreams, some bonds, some ideas of who you should be. And that hurts, but free. You may be going through a period of heightened spiritual sensations. Feel presences, have visions, hear things, capture others' emotions, become more sensitive to the energy of the environment. All of this is normal and expected in a process of deep spiritual transformation. Your sensitivity is not exaggerated, it is expanded. Your perception is not betraying you. It is adjusting. Scorpio is a channel, a living portal. And when the transformation approaches, this portal opens even wider, and everything starts to be felt with amplified intensity. You may have already noticed that things that previously went unnoticed now affect you deeply. Words that hurt you, silences that suffocate you, lies that you once tolerated now become unbearable. It's your soul saying, it's no longer possible. It's your spirit screaming for truth, for authenticity, by real connection. The superficiality, which already bothered you, now becomes unsustainable. You begin to move away from places and people that no longer resonate with your truth, and this can generate loneliness. But it is a sacred solitude. It is the interval between the old that has fallen and the new that has not yet arrived. It is the space where you find yourself, where you hear yourself, where do you actually start to live. And in that moment, everything inside you cries for expression, truly, for courage. There's no more hiding it. You can no longer push with your belly. You can no longer wait for the ideal moment. The ideal time is now. Transformation doesn't knock on the door politely, it enters. And when you enter, it changes everything. Change your values, your choices, your tastes, your vibration, your priorities. And whoever doesn't follow this movement will leave. Not because you wanted to, but because your frequency no longer supports that. So if you are experiencing all of this, understand, you are not broken. You are being rebuilt. You are not lost. It is being redirected. You are not regressing. He's coming home, returning to its essence, for what is rightfully yours, for what makes you tick. This phase can be lonely, confusing, painful, but it is also the most sacred, because it is there that the new is born. This is where you find your purpose. It's where you remember who you are and why you're here. If you felt that this video spoke to you, that these words described exactly what you are experiencing, then now is your time to declare, to seal this moment with your presence. Comment below, I accept my essence. If you understand that you can no longer escape who you are, or write, I carry this energy. If you feel like you are going through this process of spiritual transformation right now, your words are not just comments, they are codes. These are demonstrations. These are confirmations. Also, leave a like if this content resonated with your soul, and if you haven't subscribed yet, do so now, because the next stage of this journey is coming, and you'll want to be here to continue diving even deeper into what really matters, your truth. And if you've come this far, if you've heard everything so far, you know that none of this was just another piece of content thrown onto the screen. It was a calling, a code, an activation, because right now, as you listen to every word, something inside you is reorganizing itself. It's getting up. He is remembering what had been forgotten. It's not just a video. It is a reunion with what was dormant, but never stopped pulsating. And you feel it. You feel it on your skin, in your stomach, in your racing heart, in the tears that you may have been holding back. You felt like this was for you, because it was. You needed to hear this now. He needed to remember what his soul already knows. This is not just any journey. It's not just a conversation about signs. Here we don't talk to the ego. We talk to the spirit. We don't deliver information. We awaken frequencies. Because your spiritual process requires more than pretty phrases. It demands presence, truth, delivery. And that is why, on this channel, every word is measured energetically. Every sentence you hear carries the intention of reminding you that you were never lost. You were just disconnected from what guides you inside. But now, that has changed. Because by listening, by feeling, by accepting, you activated something that can no longer be deactivated. You started to see yourself differently. He began to recognize signs in his past cycles that previously seemed confusing. He began to realize that dreams were not random, that losses had purpose, that silences were necessary. Everything starts to fall into place, not because things changed outside, but because you started to change inside. This is the effect of Scorpio consciousness when it is awakened. It becomes a key. She opens portals. It peels back layers, undoes masks, and shows what has always been there. The warrior, healing, deep and unbreakable spirit that you are. And from now on, you will no longer be able to settle in places that don't nourish you. You will no longer tolerate shallow conversations, empty connections, goals that do not speak to your purpose. You will start to demand more of yourself. Go look for consistency. You will desire peace, but a peace that comes from the truth, not from omission. And this can bother those who still live on the surface, but everything is fine. You did not come into the world to be understood. You came to be true. And your mission doesn't need an audience. It needs courage. Maybe you feel like you're still afraid, and that's okay too. Fear does not disqualify your process. It is just a reflection of the part of you that knows how profound this transformation is, that recognizes that in accepting this mission, you leave behind everything that was known, even if it hurt you. It's like leaving an old house full of memories to live in an empty space, but it's yours, finally yours. And it is in this void that the new will be born. But it is only born when you choose to stay there. Don't go back, don't run away, don't pretend. Just stay. With presence. With delivery. With confidence that the universe would never let you go through something you weren't ready to go through. And that's why you're here. Because you are ready. Even if you still have doubts, even if you still feel fragile. Ready doesn't mean no fear, means not letting fear paralyze you. Ready is when you feel the weight of spiritual responsibility and still choose to continue. Choose to live truthfully. Choose to transform yourself, not out of obligation, but out of conscience. Because you understand that when you heal yourself, you heal the field around you. When aligned, it reorganizes the vibration of the space it inhabits. By becoming who you came to be, you allow others to do the same. This journey has no end. She is alive. It's movement. It's spiral. And here on this channel, you have a safe space to continue with it. A spiritual sanctuary where each video is a stepping stone, where every word is a mirror, where each theme is a reminder that the invisible exists, that the sacred is in everything and that you are part of it. This community is growing, and it grows because it is made up of people like you, who feel, who vibrate, who seek, who believe, who no longer want to live under anesthesia. Who chose to awaken. So if you're not already a part of it, if you haven't signed up yet, do so now, but do it conscientiously. Not just because it's another channel, but because here you are choosing to remember who you are. It's telling the universe, I'm ready to receive, I'm ready to align, I'm ready to continue. And by activating this simple gesture, you not only support this work, but also strengthen your own journey. And more, share this content with whoever you feel needs to hear it. Not out of vanity, but out of mission. Because when something awakens us, the natural thing is to overflow. It's reaching out to those who are still in the dark, but already feel the light approaching. It could be a friend, a family member, someone who is going through a silent crisis and needs to understand that everything is okay, that the transformation process is just beginning. And now, I want to invite you to seal this stage of your journey with a simple but profound gesture. Leave your comment below. Write with truth, with presence, with soul. Answer this question. What was the biggest sign the universe has ever given you that it was time to change? It could be a word, a sentence, a short story, or, if you prefer, comment on something that resonates with what you're experiencing now. You can write, "I accept my essence. My transformation has begun." Or, "I heard the call." The important thing is that you declare it, because when you declare, you anchor, vibrate, you manifest, and stay with me. Because in the next video, we're going to talk about the prophecy that protects Capricorn, a special content reserved for those who carry silent strength and firm destiny. If you are a Capricorn or know someone who is, be prepared. The revelations will be intense, profound, and highly transformative. And if you're a different sign, don't think you don't have a connection. Each video here carries a collective code, because one person's journey is a mirror of everyone's journey. Continue your walk. The next key is on the way, and your soul is already prepared to receive it. If you've stayed with me this far, it's because this message resonated deeply with your soul. And if you made it to the end of this video, know that this was not by chance. The universe has guided you here because you are ready for the next step in your spiritual journey. So now, I want to invite you to 3 very important things. First, subscribe to the channel right now. Here, each video is like a portal, and you are part of this community of awakened, chosen truth seekers. When you sign up, you are telling the universe, "I agree to continue on this path." Second, if you made it this far, comment below, "I've been called and I'm ready." This phrase is an energetic seal, a commitment between you and your transformation process. It's not just a comment, it's a vibrational statement. And I want to see who the warriors are who stayed until the end. Third, leave your like. But do it with intention, because when you click like, you are saying that this message touched something true inside you, and the algorithm understands that this content needs to reach other souls like yours. And finally, don't leave without watching the next video, which is already appearing here on the left side of your screen. There, you will understand the wide spiritual prophecy that protects Capricorn. And even if you are not of this sign, there are codes there that can enlighten you too. See you in the next video. Your journey is just beginning.